In this video, we're going to go over 5 calming exercises that you can use to manage pre-game nerves. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Exercise number 1 is mindfulness meditation. When we're looking at managing pre-game nerves, what we want to do is we want to manage the physical symptoms of the nervousness, but what we also want to do is manage your attention. It is your attention that starts to fuel more nervousness. What mindfulness meditation does is it helps us manage those physical symptoms of the nervousness, and it also works to manage your attention. Now, what mindfulness meditation is a simple practice where you focus on your breathing for a specific amount of time and you work to calm your mind and relax it into the present moment. Now, I know that meditation can sometimes seem strange or difficult, but the truth is this meditation practice is so simple. So here's how it's going to work. What you'll want to do before the game is set aside 5 minutes to perform this meditation. You can do it at home before you actually leave to go to the field or court, or you could do it before the game in the dugout. You could do it in the locker room. You could do it on the field, wherever you have time to perform this meditation. But you want to give yourself 5 minutes. Then what you'll do to start is you'll just sit down in a comfortable position and you'll close your eyes. Now, once you close your eyes, you want to take just a few deep breaths. These will be your warm-up breaths. Kind of think of them like grounding breaths to start bringing you into the present moment. Once you've taken those deep breaths and you've really started to relax your mind and relax yourself, it's time to focus on your breathing. Now, when we look at mindfulness meditation as a way to bring your attention into the present moment, the way this works is that you are giving yourself something to focus on, which is your breath, and then you try to focus on that for as long as possible. Now, this is where the mindfulness part comes in, because mindfulness is a state. It's the state of being completely aware and completely present in the moment. It's a fantastic state to be in when you play, because when you are mindful, you compete at your best because you're focused, you're present, you're not thinking about a lot of different things. When it comes to calming your nerves, however, mindfulness helps us because it pulls that attention away from worries, the future that you might be thinking about, the past bad games or practices that you've had, and it grounds you in the present moment. So going back to this meditation practice, you're trying to focus on your breath now. Now, what does that actually mean? It means that you're just focusing on the sensation of breathing, the air going in and out of your nose. You're focusing on the rhythm of your breath. What will happen, though, as you do this is you'll naturally begin to think about different things. And especially if you're right before a game, you will likely think about the game that you are about to play. This doesn't mean that you are doing it poorly. All that this means is that you need to recognize that thought. So I recognize, okay, I'm thinking about the upcoming game. Then you bring your attention back onto your breath. What you'll end up having to do is go through that process many times throughout the meditation. But put simply, to do this mindfulness meditation, you need 5 minutes. You want to close your eyes. You want to focus on your breathing. Then whenever you notice your attention drifting, just bring it back onto your breath and do this for the whole 5 minutes. And it's a great way to calm your mind and to calm your nerves going into a game. The second exercise is count breathing. This will take the same principles of the meditation where we are working to calm and reduce the physical symptoms of nervousness, along with bringing your mind into the present moment. But we are now doing so with our eyes open in a much more actionable way, right? So I love using count breathing before games during warm-ups. So when you're stretching, when you're going through maybe static stretching or dynamic stretches, or you're going through your pregame warm-up physically, maybe you are taking ground balls before the game, maybe you are putting up shots before the game, maybe you're on the putting green before the round. This is a great time to focus on count breathing. Now, all count breathing is where you breathe in for a certain number. So you're going to inhale for a count of 4, let's say. Then you'll exhale for a count of 4. Or you could exhale for longer. So you inhale for a count of 4, then you exhale for a count of 8. The reason that count breathing helps you reduce nerves is because, number one, you are calming yourself down by breathing. There is a reason why people say take deep breaths whenever you are nervous. When you're nervous and you take deep breaths, this helps calm that feeling of nervousness. Because whenever we're really nervous or anxious, it's natural for our breathing to become shallow, so we're not taking as deep of breaths. So simply becoming conscious of your breathing does wonders for managing your nerves. But also, if we look at sports performance anxiety, which sports performance anxiety is directly linked to pregame nerves, we notice attention becoming fixed in the future. So you're starting to think about how the game will go. You're starting to think about everything that could go wrong potentially. What we see is that the mind has gone into the future, and it could even go into the past, and you think about previous games. But most of the time, whenever you are nervous or anxious before a game, your mind is not present. What we want to do to manage this nervousness is bring your mind into the present moment. Now, if you're focusing on counting, so you're counting in for 4 and out for 8, and you're doing this over and over again, where is your attention? Your attention is in the present moment because you are focusing on the counting. That's why we are using these numbers. It's not necessarily anything about, the numbers being special as much as it is keeping your attention in the present moment by focusing on the numbers. You can also use this count breathing right before the game begins. But then the truth is, count breathing is something I recommend athletes do throughout the game if you have time to do so and if it fits within the sport that you play. Exercise number 3 is visualization. So visualization in sports is a way to build trust. It's a way to help you, go out there and know that you can perform your skills well. But the visualization that I am referring to here is actually a visualization for relaxation. So you're not actually visualizing yourself performing your skills at all. In fact, you will probably visualize something that has nothing to do with your sport. When we're trying to reduce nerves, we are trying to relax the mind and relax the body. Because we know that if nerves take over going into a performance, this is where you perform tense, stiff, and rigid, and then you naturally underperform. What visualization for relaxation is it's an exercise where you imagine a relaxing scene, and by imagining that relaxing scene, you end up feeling more relaxed. So an example of this would be imagining yourself sitting on the beach, you're looking at the ocean, it's a beautiful day, and you just feel at peace in that moment. Now, as you imagine yourself sitting on the beach, looking out at the ocean, you start to, listen and hear what you would normally hear. Maybe you hear the seagulls. Maybe you try to feel the sand on your feet. Maybe you hear the waves and you hear the water brushing on shore. When you start to imagine that, you're going to start feeling in the same way or start feeling the same way that you feel when you are actually there. Now, I know it might not seem like the best state to be in to get so relaxed before a game. But if you are someone who gets overly anxious, we do want to help you get more relaxed. If you can be more relaxed, you'll go into the game more focused, which means you can give more effort in the game because you will be more focused and you'll be more in the moment instead of having all of these nerves and this anxiety take over your mind. So what you can do is you can choose for yourself what is your most relaxing scene. My most relaxing scene and most relaxing place is at the beach, so that's what I would visualize. But for yourself, maybe it's spending time with friends or family. Maybe it is being in nature, walking along a trail in the forest, wherever it is, you want to imagine that relaxing scene. So then before the game begins, you visualize that relaxing scene to start bringing that feeling of calm back into your mind to help reduce these nerves. Exercise number 4 is talking to teammates. Now, talking to teammates doesn't seem like an exercise at all, right? But the truth is, I've worked with so many different athletes on managing sports performance anxiety, and one of the most effective tools or exercises for them to use has been talking to teammates. Because before a game, if you're really nervous, do you tend to talk to your teammates or do you shut down? And when you talk to your teammates, are you talking to them about how excited you are to play? Or are you thinking about how much you don't want to mess up? And you're talking to them about how you haven't been playing well recently in practice and you hope the game goes well today. When I'm referring to talking to teammates as an exercise, I mean talking to teammates in a way to keep things light for yourself. Stay relaxed, stay loose. A great example of this comes from a lacrosse player that I worked with who plays college lacrosse. Now, as a college athlete, you might think, okay, I need to be completely serious and focused and locked in before the game. And he was locked in, right? But that didn't mean he needed to be serious, because he dealt with a lot of performance anxiety. And if you're an athlete with performance anxiety, trying to be too serious typically tends to turn into trying to force things and to press and to stress, where we need to let go of a lot of this pressure and become more relaxed. So what he ended up doing is, before the games, he just joked around with his teammates. He kept things light for himself. What that ended up doing was managing a lot of the nerves, because he was no longer giving as much attention to his worries, since he was talking to his teammates in the present moment. Then that feeling of fun and relaxation was carried into the game, and he performed incredibly well. I've seen this work well for younger athletes, also where they've been able to talk to their teammates to keep things light for themselves. If you deal with a lot of performance anxiety and a lot of pregame nerves, talk to your teammates, keep things light, be relaxed, be joking with them. Being serious doesn't mean that you'll play your best. Being serious often lends itself to pressing and trying to force a good performance, which most often than not is not actually going to lead to a good performance. And exercise number 5 is self-talk. When we're wanting to reduce nerves, as I've said many times already, we need to pay attention to your thinking, to your focus. Where is your awareness? Self-talk refers to the way you are talking to yourself, but really it refers to your thoughts. How are you thinking when you play? Are you thinking a lot about how the game will go? One of the prime characteristics of sports performance anxiety is worrying about the future. You might worry about your coaches, your parents, your teammates, what your stats will look like, how frustrated you'll feel if you perform poorly. You might be worrying about anything and everything in the future, but we know that that thinking is directed towards the future. However, if you want to reduce nerves going into a game, you need to talk to yourself in a way that builds confidence, reduces those nerves, and keeps your attention on what you need to be focused on. And that's where self-talk comes into play. So what this exercise will be is a self-talk list that includes all different statements that build confidence and calm you down, right? Some examples might be, I believe in myself, I trust in my training, I have prepared enough this week, I am calm when I compete, I am present when I compete. All these different statements that you want to tell yourself that will build confidence going into the game and will help calm your mind. The reason self-talk helps so much with managing nerves is because we are taking control of your thinking. When you allow your thoughts to run wild, when you allow your thoughts to control you, nerves will only increase. When you take control of your thinking before games, when you choose which types of thoughts you want to have, confidence will increase, your mind will become calmer, and nerves will be reduced. Pre-game nerves can wreak havoc on your performance, which is why you have to make sure you are working to manage these nerves. And to manage your nerves, there are 5 exercises you want to use: mindfulness meditation, count breathing, visualization for relaxation, talking to teammates, and then you want to use a self-talk list. Now, you don't need to use all of these exercises at once. I would recommend choosing 1 or 2 to start with and see which ones are the most effective for yourself. If you're interested in learning more about one-on-one mental performance coaching or any of the sports psychology programs that I have available, I've put links to those in the description below, or you can head over to successstartswithin.com to learn more. Thank you for watching the video, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.